Do you find yourself to be smarter than other people? Or maybe you just find your intellectual capacity surpasses the people around you. Well, it's not unrealistic to say you may indeed be a genius. Scientists have been researching the topic of IQ for decades, and now they have even dabbled into how factors such as appearance and behaviour can influence a person's intellectual abilities. So maybe the fact that you swear like a trucker isn't so bad after all. Welcome back, Psychos. Today we'll be presenting you with a countdown of the 10 signs you could be a genius. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, as well as click the notification bell so that you never miss a video. Starting at the top with... Okay, so learning to read at a young age doesn't automatically make you a genius. I know, bummer. However, a team of British scientists claim that consistently reading as a child can increase the child's intellect, concepts and vocabulary. More specifically, children who can read fluently by the age of 7 often have a higher IQ in later years, showing better results for abstract thinking, general cognition and pattern finding. According to a study completed on 1,890 identical twins, scientists found that the twins with better earlier reading ability compared to their identical twin not only showed better reading abilities, but also higher scores on general intelligence tests. So if you were an avid reader by the age of 7, there's a high chance you may be considered a genius. Number 9. You learned an instrument. Psychology professor Glenn Schellenberg set out to study the relation between music lessons for children and IQ. The study showed that children who attended 2 different types of music lessons consistently for 9 months had higher IQ levels compared to children who attended drama class or skipped these activities entirely. However, on the contrary, Glenn believed that the higher IQ levels of these children may have been the drive to pick up music lessons in the first place. Nonetheless, if you attended and enjoyed music school as a child for a long period of time, you're one step closer to being a genius. Number 8. You prefer alone time. Smarter people naturally don't require a large circle of friends or an extravagant event to have a good time. Large social settings actually have the opposite effect of fun for smarter people, leaving them feeling overwhelmed, drained and stressed. After large social gatherings, smarter people feel the need to recharge their social meter by spending a good amount of time alone or with a close friend. People with a higher IQ prefer to enjoy themselves with learning, reading, enjoying nature and working on themselves. This also works in teamwork settings for jobs or projects. While individuals with an average IQ prefer to work in groups because it allows them to use collective strengths and weaknesses, smarter people much prefer to work by themselves because group settings tend to only slow them down. Number 7. You have a healthy BMI. What does body mass index have to do with IQ? Actually, more than we'd expect. A study released by neurology.org showed a strong correlation between BMI and cognitive function. More specifically, individuals who had an above-average BMI tended to have lower IQ results in comparison to others in the study group. Another study released by French scientists analysed data from 2,300 participants over a 5-year course and concluded that waist circumference is directly connected to IQ levels. A factor considered to be related to these findings is that people with a higher IQ often have better self-discipline and a constant drive to bettering themselves. Want to improve your self-discipline? Check out our video on 10 ways to improve your self-discipline, linked in the description below. Number 6. You rather not be physically active. On the contrary to high IQ levels, connecting to healthy BMI range, smarter people rather not work out if they don't have to. Scientists Todd McElroy and David Dickinson discovered during an experiment that individuals who prefer intellectual work are less active and, contrarily, individuals who have less of a need for cognition are more in tune with their physical exercise. People with higher IQs tend to prefer intellectual activities that require mental perseverance and persistent mental effort, like chess or math games. Consequently, according to a study released by the Journal of Health Psychology, when these people are presented with a task that has little to no mental effort, they have a tendency to get very bored very fast. So this could explain why you dread going to the gym so much. You may be a genius. Number 5. You're a lefty. If you're left-hand dominant, you've probably heard this once or twice while growing up. Lefties are smarter. Hand-dominant people use their left hand more than their writing hand. In fact, they require different scissors, golf sticks, hockey sticks, and struggle with right-handed everyday items like can openers and computer mouses. The reason behind this claim that left-handed dominant people are smarter, according to ILF science, is due to the average lefty having more developed right hemisphere, which is responsible for processing and understanding spatial awareness and mental representations of objects, which is the bundle of nerves connecting the left and the right brain hemispheres, which is claimed to result in superior information processing. Number 4. You have sensitive ears. Chewing, creaking floors, crunching chips, these everyday sounds can be distracting and sometimes annoying for people with high IQs. A study released by the scientists at the University of Helsinki showed a strong connection between the ability of a person to find out-of-the-box solutions to problems and the inability to ignore background noise. There is actually a scientific name for this diagnosis called misphonia, which actually shows the change in brain waves in these people when they are around ambient noises, like someone crunching chips next to them. So if you find yourself annoyed by the faucet dripping or subtle soup slurping, it could be just a result of the fact that you are a genius. Number 3. You have a long ring finger. According to researcher John Coates at the University of Cambridge, the length of the ring finger in comparison to the length of the index finger can predict the person's success in their financial life. The conclusion was that people with ring fingers that were longer than their index fingers extended to have a higher income and better financial life. This finger-length study has been conducted on multiple occasions, and usually all signs point to it being true, and yet completely odd phenomenon. However, a Norwegian physician, Carl Pinks, conducted a study which revealed that the longer the ring finger in comparison to the index finger, the better capability in the individual to deal with math problems, yet verbal assignments were not as successful. So in other words, you may be a math genius, just check your finger ratio. Number 2. You are inclined to panic. Anxiety and intelligence go hand in hand. The more you know, the more you worry. Ignorance is bliss, and intelligent people can't bring themselves to be ignorant on any subject because they are constantly over-evaluating everything in order to fully understand it from all angles. Researchers believe that verbally intelligent people are probably more inclined to evaluate past and future events in greater detail, resulting in more intense worry and contemplation. Researchers have been able to identify a similarity in the MRI brain scans of people with high intelligence and people with anxiety. Both of these types of individuals have a depletion of the nutrient choline in the white matter of their brains. Scientists think this has to do with anxiety and intelligence developing together as part of evolution. Anxiety is also linked to empathetic intelligence, or ability to empathize with others, which makes these individuals more sensitive to other people's feelings and point of view. Number 1. You swear like a trucker. We know it sounds strange, but the use of foul language may indicate high intelligence. The opposite has been true for quite some time, with researchers trying to link the use of abusive or swear words with people of little intelligence and vocabulary. Until recently, when studies such as the one released by the psychologist at Marist College showed that the more educated a person was, the more they expressed themselves using a large variety of words, including swear words. The reasoning behind this, according to these psychologists, is that people with higher IQs will use expressive words to emphasize their point or story in order for the listener to get the full depiction of what is being expressed. Interesting creatures, these geniuses, aren't they? So psychos, do you think you are actually a genius? Comment down below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more psycho videos. We hope you learned something, and we'll see you in the next one.